Imagine walking through those sliding glass doors. The air is crisp, the lights are a neon blur, and that rhythmic ching-ching-ching of slot machines fills your ears. It feels like a playground of pure chance, right? Like every machine is just waiting for its moment to explode. But as an ex-casino worker, I can tell you, that's exactly what the house wants you to believe. While you're looking at the flashing symbols, we're looking at the data. We know which machines are designed to keep you seated for hours while slowly bleeding your bankroll dry, and which ones actually give you a fighting chance to walk away with a smile. Most players walk in blind, picking a seat based on a feeling or a pretty theme. They're walking straight into an invisible wall. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain. I'm going to show you the 3-minute floor scan that changes everything. By the end of this video, you won't just be playing, you'll be playing smart. 1. The first 3 minutes. Breaking the first sight trap. When I worked on the floor, I could spot a losing player from 50 yards away. It wasn't about their clothes or how much cash they had. It was their pace. They'd rush to the first machine they saw, slap a 20 in, and start hammering the button. We call this the first sight trap. You have to understand that a casino is a masterpiece of psychological engineering. Every carpet pattern, every lack of a clock, and every cent pumped through the vents is designed to overwhelm your logic and trigger your impulsivity. The house wins when you're in a hurry. The most successful players I ever saw were the ones who didn't play at all for the first few minutes. They'd walk, they'd watch, they'd listen. Instead of hunting for a seat, you need to be hunting for information. Walk the perimeter of the room. Look at the credit meters of the people currently playing. Are those numbers bouncing up and down with small, frequent wins? Or are they draining steadily while the player stares blankly at the screen? You're looking for energy. A machine that's alive, makes noise, and keeps the player engaged. If a section of the floor feels like a library, quiet, tense, and somber, keep moving. That's a dead zone, and the return to player percentages there are likely at their lowest. Never sit at a machine within the first 5 minutes of entering. Walk 2 full laps of your chosen section first to read the room before you ever touch your wallet. 2. The high traffic illusion. One of the first things you'll notice in any casino are the machines placed right at the end of the aisles, near the buffet lines, or directly in front of the elevators. These are the promotional spots. From an employee's perspective, we call these the hook machines. Most players assume that because these machines are so visible, they must be the ones that pay out the most. It makes sense, right? The casino would want people to see others winning. But the reality is often the exact opposite. Because these machines have the highest foot traffic, the casino doesn't need to offer a high return to player, RTP, to keep them occupied. They rely on churn, a constant stream of new people sitting down for 5 minutes, losing $20, and moving on. When you sit at an entrance machine, you're paying for the convenience of not having to walk. I've watched countless players spend their entire night in these transit zones, only to walk away frustrated. If you want a better experience, you need to head toward the middle back of a slot bank. Machines tucked away in the center of a row are often where the more seasoned locals sit. The casino has to work harder to keep a player in the depths of the floor, so those machines often feel a bit more generous in terms of playtime. Avoid end-cap machines near high-traffic walkways. Walk 3 or 4 rows deeper into the casino floor where the commuter noise fades away. 3. The licensing fee tax. Have you ever noticed how the flashiest machines, the ones themed after blockbuster movies, hit TV shows, or legendary rock bands, always seem to be the most popular? There's a hidden reason for that, and it isn't just great graphics. These are licensed machines. When a casino installs a slot based on a famous movie, they aren't just paying for the hardware. They're paying a massive royalty fee to the studio that owns the rights. That money has to come from somewhere, and unfortunately, it usually comes directly out of the payout percentage. During my time on the floor, I'd see players flock to the Avatar or Game of Thrones slots. They're fun, immersive, and they tell a story. But those bells and whistles are expensive. To cover the licensing costs, these machines are often set at a lower RTP than the generic machines sitting right next to them. A plain, old-school machine with cherries and bars doesn't have to pay royalties to anyone. It's a pure gambling product. If you're playing for the cinema-quality bonus rounds, that's fine. Just know you're paying a ticket price for that entertainment. But if you're playing to make your bankroll last, the flashy Hollywood themes are often your worst enemy. Look for the generic machines. A machine with a simple name like Triple Diamond often offers a more transparent and consistent experience than one with a celebrity-esque face on it. 4. The Mega Jackpot Sinkhole. We've all seen the signs. Jackpot, $14 million. It's the ultimate dream. But as an insider, I can tell you that those giant numbers are often the biggest sinkholes on the floor. These are wide-area progressives. When you play a machine like this, a portion of every single cent you bet is taken away to fund that massive jackpot that spans across multiple casinos. Because so much of the math is dedicated to a prize that you have a 1 in a million chance of hitting, the base game usually pays out significantly less. I used to watch players pour hundreds of dollars into these machines, waiting for a bonus that never came. These slots are high volatility. They're designed to be feast or famine, and for 99% of players, it's famine. You'll see long stretches of dead spins where absolutely nothing happens. This is the fastest way to end your night early. If you want to actually enjoy your time and hit frequent, smaller wins that keep you in the game, stay away from the life-changing numbers. You want machines where the top prize is reasonable, maybe a few $1,000s, not millions. Those machines can afford to pay you back more often in the small to medium range. Check the top jackpot. If it's over $100,000 on a penny or nickel machine, the volatility is likely too high for a casual night of fun. 5. The penny slot paradox. The penny slot is the biggest misnomer in the casino. Most people sit down thinking, it's only a penny, I can play all night. But if you look at the max bet button, you'll see it's often $3, $4, or even $5 per spin. In my years on the floor, I saw more people go broke on penny slots than on the $5 machines. Why? Because the hold on penny slots is usually much higher. Casinos typically take a larger percentage from lower denomination machines because the volume of play is so high. Furthermore, the multi-line setup is designed to trick your brain. You might bet $1.50 on a spin and win back 40 cents. The machine plays a celebratory sound, the lights flash, and your brain registers a win. But you actually lost $1.10. We call this losses disguised as wins. It keeps your dopamine levels high while your wallet gets lighter. If you're on a budget, you're actually often better off playing a 25-cent or 50-cent machine with fewer lines. You'll have a clearer understanding of whether you're actually winning or losing, and your money will often stretch much further because the payout percentages are typically higher on those mid-tier denominations. Switch from penny denominations to quarters. The house edge is almost always lower on quarter machines, giving you more bang for your buck. 6. The near-miss psychology. One of the most effective tools a slot machine uses is the near-miss. You know the feeling. The first 2 jackpot symbols land per 10, the hidden time on device metric. Behind the scenes, casinos don't just care about how much you lose, they care about time on device. The longer you sit, the more likely you are to eventually lose your budget, but also the more likely you are to buy a drink or come back next week. This is why some machines feel friendlier than others. They are programmed for low volatility. They give you lots of little wins to keep you feeling successful, even if your total balance is slowly ticking down. As a floor worker, I could always tell which machines were time-on-device favorites. They usually had the most comfortable chairs and were located in quieter corners of the casino. These are the machines you want if you're playing for the experience. They won't make you rich, but they won't kick you out in 10 minutes either. If you find a machine where you've been playing for 20 minutes and your balance is exactly where you started, that's a time-on-device machine. It's a win for you because you're getting free entertainment. Don't get greedy and try to pump it up by raising your bet. Enjoy the ride and the free drinks. Identify your goal for the night. If it's entertainment, find a low volatility machine in a quiet corner. If your balance stays stable, stay put. 11. The tight floor design. Casino floors are designed like mazes, and there's a reason you can't find the exit or the bathroom easily. But there's a more subtle design trick: the grouping. Casinos often group machines with similar payout settings together. If you're in a row of machines and nobody around you is hitting anything, and the atmosphere feels heavy, you are likely in a tight bank. I once saw a group of 3 machines that were notorious among staff for being bankroll killers. They were beautiful, new, and right in the center of the action, but they never seemed to pay. Meanwhile, a row of older, dusty machines near the sports book was constantly triggering hand pays. Why? Because the casino uses the tight machines to subsidize the loose ones. If you're in a row where 3 people have walked away in the last 10 minutes, don't be the fourth. Observe the vibe of the bank. Is there a flow of credits? Is there a sense of excitement? If not, the design has done its job of trapping you in a low-paying zone. Use the 3-player rule. If 3 people in your immediate row look miserable or are constantly reaching for their wallets, get out of that row immediately. 12. The progressive trap. Progressive slots are enticing because the prize keeps growing right before your eyes. But there's a secret about these machines: the reset value. I've seen players rush to a machine because they heard someone just hit $5,000 on it. They think it's hot. In reality, it's the worst time to play it. You want a progressive jackpot that is overdue, meaning it is significantly higher than its usual reset point. If a jackpot usually hits around $2,500 and it's currently at $4,800, that's where the value is. You aren't guaranteed a win, but the mathematical return is technically higher because the potential prize is larger for the same bet. Never play a progressive machine that has a reset or base jackpot amount. Look for the ones that look like they about to pop based on historical highs. 13. The 3-minute floor scan checklist. Now that you know the secrets, let's put them into a practical 3-minute routine you can use every time you walk into a casino. Minute 1. The walk. Don't stop at the first bank. Walk past the entrances, past the elevators, and deep into the floor. Look for generic machines and avoid the movie themes. Minute 2. The listen. Close your eyes. Do you hear dings and music from a specific bank? Do you see people smiling or leaning back in their chairs? That's where the time on device or loose machines are hiding. Minute 3. The meter peep. This is the most important part. Peek at the credit meters of a few people in a row you're considering. Are they playing on credits they've won, or are they constantly feeding bills into the machine? You want to sit in a bank where the credit meters are bouncing. Finally, check the jackpot amounts. Avoid anything that looks like a Mega Millions sinkhole. If you follow this checklist, you aren't just gambling, you're executing a plan. You're playing with the knowledge of an insider, and giving yourself the best possible chance to walk out with your bankroll intact. Or better yet, a profit. Keep a mental or physical note of which banks sounded the best during your scan. That's your home base for the night. At the end of the day, the most important thing I learned from working in a casino is that the winner isn't always the person who hits the biggest jackpot. The true winner is the person who had a great time, enjoyed the atmosphere, and walked away without the gambler's hangover of losing more than they intended. Slot machines are entertainment. You're paying for the thrill, the lights, and the what if. By using these insider tips, avoiding the high-traffic traps, the licensed fee taxes, and the mega jackpot sinkholes, you're simply making sure you get more entertainment for your dollar. Remember, the house always has an edge, but you have the power of choice. You choose when to sit, when to move, and when to walk away. If a machine isn't talking to you, or if the row feels cold, don't take it personally, just move. Treat your bankroll like a ticket to a show. If the show is good, stay. If it's a flop, find another screen. Playing smart means playing responsibly. Set your limits, use your floor scan, and keep the focus on the fun. When you play with a strategy, the casino stops being a place where you lose and starts being a place where you play.